Hello everybody, it is Raisins here, back with another video, and this time it's a Sag video. It is a video that I wish I had seen a while ago, and that I'm basically addressing to my past self, and hopefully there's a few people out there that'll help. And it's actually relevant to what's happening on my stream right now, which is I'm on a losing streak, and I'm dropping a decent amount of LP. And I want to try my best in this video to convey how do I break losing streaks, and how do I bounce back after a little bit of a dip in my performance. I'm sure you've all had situations where you have had a dip in your performance, and that's what this aims to address. So we're going to try and talk about ways you can deal with playing worse, ways you can iron out some mistakes you're doing, and then also what I do specifically to maintain a relatively high rank, because over the last 2 months I have maintained, I've been going in and out of Challenger, dipping in and out, but maintained Challenger for a decent amount of time. And I'm going to talk about what I do to try and make sure my consistency is there and I'm not constantly going up and down like a crazy person like I used to. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to watch me stream on Twitch and watch me lose and drop from Challenger, then you can join it. The link is in the description. You can come say hi. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so this video is about how does a high elo player deal with losses and lose streaks. Now, keep in mind, I am only one high elo player. There are players in the Challenger and above that just, ignore some of my advice and just play a ridiculous amount of games. But let's break it down, and I'm going to give you step by step what I have started to do to make myself a much higher player with less games played. So number one thing I want to talk about right now, really simply, is League is a confidence-based game. And Coach Curtis actually mentioned this in one of his videos, and the more I thought about it, the more true it was. Which is basically, League is all about confidence. It is about being able to spot those windows, and you have to have confidence in yourself. And actually, the confidence aspect of your gameplay, in some weird way, it bleeds into your teammates. When you see a really confident player in your games doing well in your games, often the team rallies around them. Now, even in low elo that happens, and especially in low elo when I'm smurfing, for example, players often, they realize that you are the best player on the team. Now, there's still toxicity and there's still issues around that, but the point is, confidence is contagious. If you are a very confident player, aggressive player, playing to your strengths, and you know what your champion wants to do, on average, in general, you will win your games with a high kill participation. You'll be a big portion of why your team knew what to do, because you'll be making plays. You'll be making good plays before your teammates can make bad plays. I've said that a lot in my coaching sessions, but basically just drag your team across the finish line. That's what you have to do. Anyway, League is a confidence-based game. A lot of League of Legends involves consistency. So confidence and consistency, the two things that I think League of Legends solo queue specifically needs for you to maintain high elo. You have to be consistent, and obviously this one's a no-brainer. You're going to be playing a lot of games per day. If you're if you're like better than Faker in 10% of your games, but you are worse than an Iron 4 player in 90% of your games, you're going to be an Iron 4 or below, whatever secret elo there is below Iron 4. So you have to be consistent. You have to manage it. And if you're 50-50, if you're 50% better than Faker, 50% Iron 4, you're probably just going to be somewhere in the middle, gold, like platinum. I don't know. You'll just hang about there. You won't actually be at your peak level, nor will you be at your bottom tier level. So the goal is to try and bring, while still improving, bring your consistency to a level where you're not just like roller coastering every day. You have a good day and then you have a bad day. And there's a bunch of ways I started to do that. And I actually played League competitively throughout my university. I played League competitively after my university. And there's ways that I've learned over time to become more consistent. So I'll just show you what happened on stream yesterday. How about that? Instead of me talking about this. This is what happened on stream yesterday. Now, it doesn't look that bad in the grand scheme of things, but I'm going to talk about why I need to make this video now and not 3 days later after I've lost even more games. So yeah, I lost all 5 games yesterday on stream. I think probably 3 out of those 5 games I was playing pretty badly. So this 1-6-2 game I was playing pretty badly, and then these first 2 games of the day I was playing pretty horribly. I think I could have carried 2 out of those 3 losses. 2 out of these 3 losses, I probably could have carried them if I played better. The other 2 losses, I'll be honest, I played significantly better and I fixed a couple of the problems I was doing that day, but I wasn't playing well enough to hard carry. And we also had a couple of, a lot of people typing in that game, which didn't help. But why am I making this video now about these games? And I'll actually leave them on the screen for a bit so you guys can, soak in the wonderful loss streak that Raisins is having. So yeah, I've had a rough week, and the next steps are, how do I bounce back? So the first thing is you have to start identifying when you're on that downward trend. Now, that part of that is experience. I've played League for a long time. I can start feeling when I'm losing my grip on my laning phase, when I'm starting to make unnecessary mistakes, when I'm getting caught for no reason. I can kind of feel it out. I start noticing that I'm making these stupid decisions, and that's experience. But if you're really self-aware, you can actually pick up on it. You know, after like 3-4 losses, you'll probably be like, okay, well maybe one or two of those games are like really hard because my teammates were doing bad as well. But I'm not playing that great. You know, I could have won that lane if I played better, or I normally beat this matchup. Why did I lose this matchup? These kind of things you should start thinking about and being kind of getting your foot in the door and starting to identify the loss streak before it just spirals into a gigantic loss streak. That's a really important part of playing League of Legends if you want to maintain a decent rank. So number one thing is play less games per day, and that sounds really counterintuitive. And this is one of the hardest things to do as a kind of emotional person if you are emotionally affected by your League of Legends games. And I'm going to talk about why you're emotionally affected and why I was emotionally affected back in the day. But play less games. That's just a fact. Stop spamming a billion games. It'll actually just exacerbate your problems. Yes, you might win on your win streaks. You might win more if you play 100 games, but you will also lose more. And I'll ask you this question right now. Do you feel better after a win in League of Legends or worse after a loss? Is the bad feeling after a loss significantly worse than the good feeling after a win? And for a large portion of the player base, it feels way worse to lose a game of League of Legends than it does to win. And that's just a weird psychological thing. But it is extremely important you don't just spam 100 games and try and recover from a bad loss streak. Because I'll tell you right now, just the big win streak, your mind doesn't remember those as much as it remembers the big loss streak. So you need to try and cushion the fall a little bit. Just play a few less games per day. Try and play fewer games in general. I mentioned that in a lot of my coaching sessions. Second thing is I actually come to this OPGG and I start looking at my stats and also my post-game stats, my match history. So as you can see in some of these games where I'm losing, you know, my kill participation is a little low. It doesn't tell me everything. My deaths very high in some of these games, like 6 deaths. Actually, it wasn't terrible, but I mean, this one I just lost my lane. I was mid lane, I just lost my lane. So 10 deaths, 7 deaths, you know, these are unnecessary amounts of deaths for a mid laner. And then also, I'm looking at other things. I'm looking at my stats as in like, was I actually involved in skirmishes bot lane and 2v2s? That's kind of just a memory thing. Can you remember losing your lane? Like, did you lose a lane that you shouldn't have lost? So there are certain things that you need to do as like just get some hard evidence. Don't just think, oh, I'm losing my games in the last week because I'm getting caught. Get some hard evidence. I'm not going to do that in this video because that would make this video too long. But go back, look at your match histories, and if you have the time, just quickly go over 10 minutes of your replay and just look at your early laning phase and be like, wow, I really inted there. I shouldn't have gone ganked. Because I got ganked a couple times in these games, I'll tell you now. I got ganked on stream a couple times and I was like, oh my god, that was so obvious. You know what I mean? Like, why was I playing that far up? I knew the jungler was going to show up then. So that's another point that you should stick to. And then the next point, this is the point that I took to the heart the most when I started to develop this mindset of how not to get into lose streaks, which is I tried to break League of Legends away from myself as a person. I know this sounds really abstract and really corny and wishy-washy, but just hear me out. So the way this works is, if you don't have a lot going on in your life, like that you're proud of, and I was there, okay? I was there. I had a lot that I didn't like in my life. I didn't really enjoy doing my degree as I was doing it. It was a very stressful experience, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do in life, but I was really good at League. I made League my identity. I basically, like, everything depended on my rank, and I was really proud of my rank when it was good, and I was really ashamed of my rank when I felt it was below my expectations. And to just put it really simply, I had League of Legends as my identity. It was my core identity as a person. Now, that is really, really unhealthy. Firstly, because these loss streaks will hit you mentally, they will hit you like a truck. And then secondly, you will become an insufferable prick if you put League of Legends as your identity. If you walk around saying, oh, I'm the best player in the room because I'm challenger. Yeah, people are going to look at me like, shut the hell up, dude. Please. Just you're not going to be that fun a person to be around if that's your entire shtick and that's your whole person thing as a person. Now, it's harder for me and it's harder for content creators in general because it is technically part of your identity. That's how we make some of our money. And I have to wrestle with that. And that's a big portion of, you know, why it can be slightly stressful, like yesterday on stream, to drop so much elo, because I'm no longer a challenger player. I can't put that in my title anymore. So what do I do about that? Well, it sounds really dumb, but like sports psychology will, you know, like help me out in this regard when it comes to the research. You need to have something that you can at least lean on outside your League of Legends. Whether that be, I don't know, you like running, or you like cooking, or you just like, I don't know, you like anime, go watch an anime, go do something outside of League that you actually enjoy and that wrestles your mind away from the constant need to spam a bunch of games and recover from these bad losses. I'll tell you right now, it's really important. I know it sounds corny, stupid, cheesy to some people, especially back when I was 18 years old and I was spamming a bunch of games and I was thinking I was going to become the next Faker. I'm telling you right now, you need to not obsess over your rank so much. It's just unhealthy. So I'll leave it at that, but it is a really, really important point. And if you only take 1 point from this video, please take that one away. Don't fetishize your rank. It's just bad. So the second part of like me identifying that I'm on a kind of lose streak is, like I said, stopping the tilt snowball. So I mentioned that briefly earlier. You need to try and identify when you're starting to play worse, right? So the reason I think I can identify it so quickly, and this is probably different from other people who have varying schedules or schedules that are less set in stone, is I have a routine. I don't play League of Legends off stream. I only play League on stream between 8 p.m. my time and midnight. That is it. That is the only time I play League. So what that means is if I am playing badly, I have already eliminated a bunch of other reasons. I have sorted out the outside stuff outside of those hours in my life. They very rarely affect me when I go into my 4 hours of streaming. I don't sit there and I analyze, oh, was it something I ate today? Was it, because my routine is there. I'm comfortable with my routine, so I can exclude all these other outside factors. Now, there have been some disturbances in my house. We've had a major leak in our apartment, so there's been drilling constantly. So there's a world in which maybe I'm just not getting as much sleep, or you know, like I'm constantly having a headache because of the drilling. But you know, I don't really get affected by that stuff that much. My gameplay is my gameplay. So I'm relying less on outside excuses. So if you don't have a routine, that's something I would very highly recommend. If you want to climb an elo and you want to actually maintain your good elo, just play at the same time every day if you can. If you can manage that, try to do that and play less games. Now, something I get asked a lot is, but what happens if that's a 15-minute surrender and I can only play 2 games a day? Well, you need to understand that, okay, it might be a 15-minute surrender, but you know, if you were doing good in the first 10 minutes of the game in your lane and someone else would just cause a 50-minute surrender, it is what it is. If you were the cause of the 50-minute surrender, sure, that might be an issue that you can work on, and that's already a productive situation. You don't have to throw that away and be like, oh, that was a total waste of my time, because if you lost your lane and caused, you know, the enemy AD carry to snowball and in 15 minutes you lost the game, you should probably look at what you were doing and figure out whether there was a way you could stop it. Obviously, it's not all in your control, but there are always things you can improve on. So yeah, I mean, even in the losses, even if you go 0-2 that day, if you have a routine, then you can worry less about the outside factors. That's the important point I'm trying to make, and you can actually like bounce back from the losses. And I'm going to tie that point back straight back into the confidence point. Since League is a confidence-based game, if you get your confidence destroyed because your identity is, you know, tied to your rank, that is very, very difficult to build up without building your rank back up. But you won't build your rank back up unless you build your confidence back up. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy where you lose games, you lose confidence, and because you lose confidence, you play worse, and then you lose more games. So what you actually need to do, like I said, is maintain a routine, and then you need to mentally understand that not every game is winnable, and that some games and some days you will just statistically, if you flip a coin, you know, there are chances that you will just land on the wrong side 5 times in a row. It's not exactly like that in League. It's not 50-50. You have more control than a coin toss, but you get what I mean. So just take that into consideration and mentally prepare yourself for having a couple of bad days, but also understand that you have good days. Maybe try and savor the good days just as much as you savor the bad days. That's probably some good advice. And then the last point I want to mention is don't get into the I'm going to try and climb as fast as I lost. Okay, so when you're going through these kind of days, it's very easy. It's very, very easy to sit there and be like, oh, wow, I lost 5 games today. Or sorry, yesterday. So today I have to play 5 games and win. Okay, that is a very, very destructive mental. Not only will it make you a lot more tense and uptight when you're playing the games, when you put stakes that you don't physically control or that you don't have a good enough control over, when you do end up losing a few games today, for example, when you're saying you want to win 5 games in a row, it's going to feel really, really harsh. And it's going to feel like you didn't reach your goals, but you're actually just setting bad goals. You're setting a goal that you don't have full control over. And also it's just not in your best interest to set a goal in which you know, you could have made an improvement from yesterday, but you know, your teammate had a bad game and your mid laner fed and you lost the game. Because then you would look at that and you'd be like, oh wow, today was a failure. But it wasn't a failure. You actually did play slightly better. It's just, it happens. Your mid laner had a rough game. It is what it is. So don't get into the mentality of like, I am going to play 5 games today and get all this LP back. You know, I could get into the mentality of like, I dropped from Challenger. I have to get back my 100 LP today, right now. Otherwise, it's just a failure. Or otherwise, I'm just going to keep playing until I win. That's that will 100%, like, I'm just going to enter Diamond. I can already hear the Diamond police knocking on my door. So don't do that. And then finally, I'm going to end this video with a really quick story. I know it has been a little bit unstructured. Sorry about that. I just thought it was a very important video to make because, you know, it's happening to me right now and it's an interesting topic. But I actually, what is it? I would like to hear what your guys' largest loss streaks is. If you can put them in the comments, or if you let me know, you know, on Discord, whatever, tell me what the largest loss streak you ever had was. If you made it to this point in the video, thank you very much. I appreciate you. You're awesome. Come subscribe to my Twitch and subscribe to my YouTube. You're cool. But I'll tell you mine. My largest loss streak, I've said this once on stream, but my largest loss streak, I hit Challenger in Season 5. I was playing Taric back then, reworked Taric. He was really broken. And I remember when I hit Challenger, I was ecstatic. I was so over the moon that I hit Challenger. And I started to play a bunch of games because I got into mind, like, I'm Challenger now. I just keep climbing and eventually I'm going to be an LEC. Well, at the time it was LCS. I'm going to be like the best European support in the world. And then I had one bad day. Now, after that bad day where I dropped from Challenger and I dropped about 70 LP in one day, and you know, I was like, damn, I think I'm a Challenger player. So that means if I keep increasing the amount of games, eventually I'll climb back to Challenger. But what I did was, because I had a bad day, I actually skipped my lectures for the next day, right? I skipped some lectures and I said, I'll just do the work from home. And then also on top of that, you know what? I'll actually just, you know, have my lunch at my desk and I'll try and, like, you know, quickly get back into game. And I'll climb again because I have to be Challenger. Because if I'm not Challenger, LEC teams or LCS teams won't want me. So what I was like doing was, in my mind, I was like, okay, I have to just keep playing now because I've lost. And if you lose, the only way you're going to climb is if you play. So I was trying to play again. So the second day I lost 100 LP. And then the third day I lost 150 LP, right? And I was just losing. And by the end of the week, I had gone from like 550 points Challenger to Diamond 2 in 1 week, right? And I don't think my roommates saw me that whole week. I was eating at weird times. I was doing weird things at weird times. Point is, it happens. And I wish I had handled it healthier. And I wish I had recognized that I was playing at a peak. But then as soon as I started losing confidence, that cycle starts hitting you, where I lost confidence and therefore I was playing worse. But I felt the need to play, so I lost more. And it just gets worse and worse and worse. So if you ever are on a lose streak, if you're ever like getting crushed in solo queue and you're like, God damn, how do I win games? I've forgotten how to win almost, it feels like. Come watch this video. Hopefully you get some motivation from it and you find some ways of bouncing back from stuff like this. In my last 40 games, I'm only 43% win ratio. But in my last 20 games, I'm 35% win ratio. It's a little rough right now. But that was mainly due to yesterday. It was a pretty unlucky day in terms of teammates. We had a lot of flaming, a lot of typing. And then also I played a little bad on top of that, so it just made it worse. So hopefully today and the day after, I'll be able to, you know, slowly climb back up over time and we'll get back to Challenger eventually. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully it was useful in some way or another. And yeah, I mean, good luck in solo queue, and I hope it goes better than my games are doing. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. See ya.